What's going on, family? Welcome to New Orleans Spill TV. East versus Uptown. We're going to talk about it. And the reason what brought this on last night, it was a fight broke out between, it was family. I didn't fight. Trust me on that. I'm going to tell you something. Even though I took up boxing from 7 years old all the way until, 18, 19, guess what? I'm not fighting it. I'm afraid I'm going to get out of breath. And you might whip me if I get out of breath. And then I'm going to have to come back. So I'm not fighting you. Off top, you're getting burned if you even act like you won't do violence. So I didn't fight. It was calling my nephews, man. My nephews, man, we together. We in the East. We having a, playing spades and all that, drinking, smoking, whatever, doing, eating. Boy out there grilling. We get on the subject of the East and Uptown, but we talking about, I have some partners that came up with me uptown. I have some partners that know me in the East. We all just sitting there chilling. So we get into conversation about this. And it led to them young was fighting because they hopping out like, man, the ones of the East, they try to hit it uptown. It's all kind of crazy stuff. But they all family, so it's nothing to get riled up over. After that, we all chilled, laughed about it. It was crazy. But I want to do this for you all. The East versus Uptown. And I need y'all to comment and get with me on this. Tell me your opinion, because this is my opinion on East versus Uptown in all kind of aspects. And we're going to start like this. We're going to start light. Hospitality. I guess you say, damn, that's real light. Yo, we're going to get to the good stuff. Hospitality. Who has the best hospitality back then? Who had the best hospitality back then? I know what you're going to think, the East. But no, it's Uptown. In my opinion. What I mean by hospitality. Let me tell you something, man. Uptown. I don't care where I was at Uptown. I don't care if it was the 17th, the 10th ward. We're not talking projects. Projects different. You can't just be roaming in anybody's project. And, back then, a lot of people was at war. Stuff like that. We talking about the outside of the projects. Let's leave the projects out of this. Bro, you could literally, it could be someone barbecuing. Let's just say on the parkway or something. It could be someone barbecuing. You could be walking by with somebody they may know, chilling. You would stop and talk. Next thing you know, you eating barbecue. Next thing you know, y'all chilling. Y'all having fun. It was like that. That happened to me so many times. Stuff like that, man. A card game or something. Or, we're going to get to the stuff that goes on uptown. But other than that, that's something people don't talk about. Uptown was more down to earth. In my opinion. More down to earth. Yeah, you had stuff going on. Let's talk about the giveaways. First person I know to give away stuff was from Uptown. Turkeys and stuff like that. Now, it might have happened in the East. I don't know. I think it did. I don't know. But to me, Uptown was more down to earth. More hospitality. East, not so much, man. Not so much, man. Let me tell you something, man. I used to say this back in the days. I used to be like, bruh, to say that Uptown was more, back then, bruh, that East, you had to be clicked in. Everybody had cliques. Everybody hung tight with each other. And, from the same neighborhood, it didn't matter. You had to be, you couldn't just walk up. You couldn't just end up in no one yard. Damn near strangers. Talking about barbecuing, or playing spades. They weren't going for that. They didn't know you. East was, in my opinion, was a little more uptight. Now, when we were talking about this last night, some guys from Uptown said, man, you tripping, man. I used to have fire times in the East with strangers. Well, I guess it varies. I'm not saying the entire East was like, I'm talking about my experience. I figure Uptown had the best hospitality. I mean, when it comes to people just being down to earth. I mean, that's how I felt. Like, the East, uptight as hell, man. I'm talking about even the drug dealers. But, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Females. Let's get on that. Ooh, boy, this subject here had people yelling last night. The females. We gonna have different aspects of this. Let's talk about pretty. Let's go with that first. East off top. East off top. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. You from uptown, you from downtown, you from whatever in New Orleans. You wanted one of them St. Mary girls. Yeah, they were some bad women back then, but they was bad. I can't lie to you. A lot of East had some nice looking women back then, man. I'm talking about they were. Now, on a side note, let's just throw this out here. The best looking ones back then was out the 7 ward. Just keep it 100. That was out there 7 ward. But we talking about East and Uptown. Them was some bad women up here. Look different. A lot of them look more. I want to say classier. I'm gonna say classier. You know, they had pretty faces and all that. Nah, body wise, Uptown had it. Waist on down, Uptown had it. I'm talking about. I don't know if it was the crabs from the blue building. I don't know if it was the seafood. I don't know. They had it. Now, let's talk about personality. Depending on what you're looking at. The East girls, a lot of them, not all of them. A lot of them had different, you know, they was more, dudes was looking to wife them more, in my opinion. Looking to wife them more, you know. Uptown, they wifed them too. But Uptown, you had more fun with them, you know. I mean, how the saying goes, the easy ones are more fun. You had more fun with Uptown. Uptown was vicious, man. Uptown, them girls there, Uptown, you had more fun with them. They were more way down to earth. They was way down to earth. I done had some crazy times Uptown. My most wild, I'm gonna give you a little short story. The most wild experience I had as a youngster, 18, came Uptown. Short story. I mean, I'm not trying to make this one long. Dude out the project, that Calio, I hung with, was like we shot marbles together, was like my best friend. He takes me by these girls double dating. We you know, he wanted me to take one for the team, right? I gets there. This is in the Magnolia Project, and we goes to the Magnolia Project. I gets there, bruh. They were hit. One would I don't want to fat shame. Back then, I didn't like fat people. Now, you know, it's like the more, you know, I like the little more weight on the more pushing for the cushion later on. But back then, nah, I was 18. I had a little cash. Now you had to be bad. She was big as hell. And the other one was old as hell. It was her auntie. Yeah, we 18, 19 years old. This lady had to been, in our mind, think about how 35 looked to an 18-year-old. She was like 35, probably a little older. I'm like, what the fuck, this old shit? So we gets there. That dude nasty. I ain't gonna lie, nasty. I'm surprised he's still here today. I'm gonna be real with you. He end up dealing with the auntie. We 18 now. He wants me to handle with the big one. I couldn't, bro. I couldn't. I'm talking about we in that mud, bought about. We in there smoking. I tried. I got butt bowl. We in there bought a ball naked. I just couldn't do it at all. She tried everything. I can't create a miracle, make it jump for nothing. He wound up hitting both of them. I'm in the room. We in the same room. He wound up both of them. No protection, none of that. The girl, the older lady, I'm looking like this old mother. Bruh, this shit just was so nasty to me. I'm looking like this old mother. You know what she do? Right after, I'm about to say his name, finished with her, she hops on the phone and call her husband. Where you was at? By that broad, huh? Smoking a cigarette, butt naked. Calling him, feeling guilty, I guess. I don't know. Checking to see where he at. It's in the Magnolia. It's in the Magnolia Project. And dog, it gets no crazier than this. I done had other experience, bro. girls from Xavier University. They ain't even from Uptown. But Uptown, yeah, you had more fun with them. That, I guess you could call it fun. It wasn't fun to me. But you had more fun with them, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. The East girls, people tried to wife. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they wasn't all that kosher. Because you mess around, you gotta think, them bras on another level. Uptown girls might feel for you. They more street. You ain't going on CP. East girls, you going on CP, homie. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know CP. So yeah, looks wise, East got it. Down to earth, Uptown have it. Body down, we talking about thickness, Uptown have it, man. We was talking about that bad, bro, and there was a bunch of East girls there, and we East women. And I'm talking about your mama, and depending on how old you are, your grandma, she was out there, and especially Uptown, boy, she was popping that thing. East too, all over, man. That's just what it was, man. What else I had on here? Let me look. I wrote a list, man, where we talked about schools. Ooh, schools. Uptown, you had Fauché. You had a bunch of schools uptown. The East, you had the East. We could just talk about high schools. You only had 2 high schools in the East, Reed and Abe. But for schools wise, let's talk about football teams and stuff like this. In my opinion, the East had it. Abe, you had Terrell House, man. Boo was like, rest in peace, man. This dude probably was like 240 fullback running a full 3. Y'all think I'm lying? It wasn't a game. Y'all know, especially 3-5 know. I remember the boy got stabbed in 3-5 homecoming. They thought he wasn't going to play. That boy stepped on that field, and boys started crying. It was their homecoming. They knew game over. I mean, this dude here will break, be on the 1-yard line to break a 99-yarder with no problem. A fullback, no play. Don't need a playbook. Give it to him. A fullback. Reed. He even had some good basketball players at Abe, man. Reed too. Reed had some fire basketball players, man. Uptown, Fauché was twerking something, but in my opinion, y'all tell me, I'm talking about between the years of 90 to 94 for school-wise. I mean, no, forget it. The whole era, 90s. You know, if you was after that, tell me what you think, man. But yeah, in my opinion, East had it, man. Abe had it. The schools was, for his education, definitely the East. When it comes to Abe, at one time, not Reed, but then Reed got it up there. The students, what you looking at? Good students, East. Bad students, Uptown. Yeah, you would get, now, let's say this. You would get jumped and whooped Uptown. Straight up. Now, this gonna cause some trauma, or some drama. This what it started from last night. In my opinion, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let's just say if the East had a fist fight with schools uptown, we talking fist fights, the East would have won back then, man. I'm here to tell you, man. And they would have won. They was fighting more in that East. You had a lot of them taking boxing out that East. I'm talking about, like, you could say what you want. I hear a lot of people say, man, boxing not the same as street fighting. Nah, yeah, bullshit. Let me tell you something. It's not the same, but I'm here to tell you it's a difference, bro. If you go in that mud swinging all wild and with your little street stuff, and that dude got some skills, you in trouble, bro. I'm telling you from experience, you in trouble. And a lot of them had that. That's what they did, man. They used to box, and some of them went professionally, man. You had Ronald Weaver. You had some of them. A lot of them went professional boxing, man. You had Greg Davis. You had a lot of them that went professional, man. And that's, in my opinion, yeah, it would have been. Now, Uptown would have did Uptown like it happened when I was in middle school when they jumped my partner. I'm gonna talk about that story one day. When this was in the East, and we came from Uptown to the East, and we went Uptown on them, and stuff got on the news. It went all the way on the news. But nobody died. But yeah, fighting, hands, East would have done it. Matter of fact, it happened in the future at a club. I was like, this way later, man. I was like 26, 27. I don't know if somebody was throwing a party at a club uptown, and a fight broke out. and it was the East against Uptown. I wasn't in the fight. I was there, but yeah, none of them dudes I knew. Well, I ain't know now one of them on each side. I knew a few of them from Uptown, one of the East. And if you was in that club, man, the East kind of, I hate to say it, the East kind of got in where I went in. But Uptown came later on to the neighborhoods and Uptown them, and Uptown won that one. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, it's just my opinion. What you think? I could be crazy now, hey, but just, whatever. For schools wise, all in all, I give it to the East. Now, let's talk about, I definitely want to talk about this. Chilling spots. Where everyone chill. Uptown, downtown. The East, we're going to give it to the East. Even though that must stretch from the East all the way down near the Metairie, the lakefront. Uptown had the Riverview. For those who don't know, the Riverview. Later on, college students and all, they started calling it the Fly. What you call the Fly was the Riverview. Lakefront or the Riverview? My opinion, the lakefront. I guess you say, but you're giving a lot to the East. Nah, but I think anyone will agree with me on that. Lakefront. Everyone was on that lake, bruh. Everyone. I guess you say, but damn, dog, you can't give it to the East. Well, it was by the East. I guess the little one area you could call the East. Then it stretches all the way. I give it to the East. Then it stretches to Gentilly and stuff like that. But then again, yeah, because the black side was towards the East. Am I right? They called it the black side, the white side. You know the difference because the black side bathrooms tore up. You go to the white side, goddamn bathrooms clean as a whistle. Go to the black side, bathrooms tore the hell up. Go to the black side, got a little trash, crawfish everywhere. Go to the white side, look clean. Even though you had blacks hang on both sides, I find it ironic that they made sure that side stayed clean. That's we call it black side, white side. Black side was to the East. That was better than the Riverview. Don't get me wrong. You had fun on the Riverview. Riverview was tight. But that lakefront, man, popping. Y'all know I'm not lying about that, man. Tell me what you think about that. What else I have? Cars. Ooh, woo. Uptown. Uptown all the way. Oh, we about to get to the parts. Uptown all the way, man. Uptown had some nice whips, bro. The East too, but Uptown had it, bro. Uptown was a hit of the card when it came to them whips, man. Even when everyone had cutlasses and Impalas and stuff like that, was fixing them up. Honda Accord, Tauruses and all that. People was fixing them up. Uptown had it all the way. Just without a doubt, Uptown had it. East had some nice cars too. Mostly them dudes out of Miss You had some nice cars. Mostly, in my opinion, mostly it was them. They had a lot of nice cars, man. You know what I'm saying? But Uptown, all the way. Uptown had the whips down packed. What else I got? Money. Who had the most money? I guess you said, man, what's taking so long? You had Glenn Mitz, you had, you think about stuff like that, man. I still give it to the East. For it's the most bread. Here's why, though. Here's why. Uptown was more, how can I say? You knew what was happening uptown. Meaning police was on Uptown. One thing I do know, that's just like small towns. Back then I could take it to a small town, and you would wonder how this small town got one or two damn near millionaires, because it was kind of easy to make money in the East, and there's a lot of cats that have some real serious change in that East. I'm talking about some serious change, in my opinion. Now, you had a few of them uptown, but when you want to talk about some people playing with hundreds of thousands here and there and stuff like that, East had a lot of them. A lot of them, man. Uptown you had your ones with the cake too. In the East you had your ones too. You had people like Giovanni Tweet. You had people, you had people with change uptown, man. Not just him. You had other people, Big Byron. You had, uptown. You had. You could say it wasn't what, but in my mind, I guess, cause from what I seen, it's a lot of money flowing through that East. It's a lot of money flowing. Now I'm talking the streets. But then you had money out the East because even Baby had a house in the East. You had neighborhoods out that East, all black, people with money, football players, lawyers, doctors. You had neighborhoods on Bullet. So the East had more money, in my opinion. Period. From the streets, you add the streets to the legal, it was the East all the way. It's the East. It's the East. The East had more money, in my opinion, Now, if you want to keep it street, tell me your opinion. What you think about that, man? Drugs. Yeah, let's get to it. Same thing. Who had the most work? Where the most work come from? West Bank not in this. If the West Bank were in it, I would say the West Bank because my dude lived on the West Bank, my boy Chuck. But honestly, people don't know. Yeah, even though he moved to LA in the 70s, Chuck was from the 8th Ward. House still there. See, nobody knows that. House still there. Family grew up in the house in the 8th Ward. That house still there, man. But he lived on that West Bank. And he was out that West Bank. And, it ain't nothing to brag about, I guess, not today. But if you taught you how to rock it up. Because during that era, you had Freeway Rick Ross and all that in L.A. Brought that down here. So West Bank not in it. But you want to talk about some work, like constant work. I don't know all uptown business. I don't know if you had a few of them. But they dealt with people in the East too. I get that to the East. I'm being real with you, man. I get that to the East. You had some people in that East that was dealing with same thing uptown, man. And it might sound crazy, but if we talking about big timers, they had a lot of them out there in that East. Now, if you want to talk about the most work all over, uptown had it. Work is uptown. You had work all through the project. You had work all through the neighborhoods. You had work all over that place. But it's hard to break that down because I'm going by people that's bringing in loads constantly, constant connects. And from the era of the 90s, we're going to say the early 90s on up, I knew of more in the East. I knew of more of them in the East. Yeah, it's going to sound crazy, but yeah. Facts. We get down to the nitty gritty. Violence, we know. This was part of start the fight too. You already know Uptown. Uptown, if I'm not mistaken, I remember I looked this up one time. Back then, New Orleans was averaging 300 to 400, and at that time when it became a murder capital, I think it was damn near 500 murders a year. But we talking about over 300, over 350 a year on a constant basis during that time. That's a lot of murders, man. And the bulk of that came from uptown. We talking about the bulk. We talking about over 50% came from damn near one area. That's that damn 3rd Ward. Damn near one area. It's a lot of killing, man, up there. A lot of killing. You had killing out through whole New Orleans. Right now, we just talking about East and Uptown, but throughout entire New Orleans. Somebody said last night, okay, when I said hospitality, somebody brought up a night ward. I said, boy, you crazy. Boy, hell no, nothing. Ain't no hospitality in the night. I saw a little more hospitality in the East and the night ward, but for to me, the most dangerous project, man, was Desire. The Desire, man, that junk was a city within itself. And then you couldn't go up and I ain't mean to drift off, but I'm just saying, when you talking about hospitality, nah, definitely not the night ward. But I saw a little more than the East up there. But for his violence, say, bro, Uptown was so violent, my dude. I'm talking about. But I will say this. They had some cutthroat dudes uptown. But uptown, to me, dudes had more of a, it's going to sound crazy, brother, like when I said compassion, just like when I said hospitality. They had a little more, how can I explain it? Good dudes, man. That like, okay, like you might get more of, yeah, leave that cat alone, man. He good, bro. He's something wrong with him. Something like that. That is? Man, come on, man. Them dudes, man. Them dudes, man. It sound crazy, even though it was more violent uptown. But man, I done see them some low down motherfuckers, man. I done see some low down, conniving, spoiled brat, almost like spoiled brats turned violent. Some low down, conniving. Like, come on, bro, for real? I done seen it uptown too now, don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, bro, I done seen some messed up stuff uptown, bro. But you have sick people everywhere. But it was like, I don't know. I don't want to say that. But yeah, the more violence came from uptown, bro. Uptown, man, the murders was out the way, man. And one dude asked me, well, what you thought, who was more violent, the Cali or the Magnolia, the Melt? They each had their era. They each had their era. But in my opinion, people ain't gonna like this, but I just keep it 100 this back then. And it's just my opinion. In my opinion, a lot of them dogs, a lot of them, bro. A lot of them dogs, it was a little more, to me, a little more organized. But I didn't hang in the Magnolia like that, so I can't say. But a lot of them more of them dogs came out that Calio, bro. Came out that Calio. That's my opinion. You know, of course somebody will say the Melt. Of course somebody will say the Magnolia. But most of them dogs came out that Calio. A lot of them dogs too came out that damn, they ain't in this, but that damn Desire. That Desire was, that shit was a monster, man. Rappers. I mean, I don't need to answer that one. That's uptown all the way. But let me tell you something, man. The East wasn't known for rappers at all. The East, you had probably a few rappers out the East. Now one of them made serious noise. Unless somebody from out the East I don't know about. Now you had people saying Lil Wayne was in that East. He was. I don't know if he was bouncing backwards and forth from the 17th because his step Paul Rabbit was out the goose. Then I moved to Bunker Hill or something like that. And was married to his mama. And he straight up East. You even had people which, same thing, probably moving backwards and forwards. You had people that say BG stayed in Skyview. Well, here's the thing. Them not East dudes. They not representing the East. So, of course, when it comes to rapping, music-wise, and then you can't just deny Cash Money. Cash Money the one who, you know, I ain't gonna say pioneered New Orleans rap, but damn sure took it all the way. Rappers, let's go with locally. Still uptown versus the East. Still uptown. Now, if you a person that like rap more than bounce, at West Bank had some dogs, man. At West Bank, man, you had, even though that's changing the subject, man, you had MC Thick. You had, what that dude that sing Nasty Bust Down. You had Tim Smooth. You had some dogs out there. That West Bank did a lot of rapping. Even Doghouse Posse, that was like a little gangster bounce clique. And they was doing their thing. Before as rappers out there, uptown. Now, no one. I mean, I can't say that. I don't want to say I'm wrong. I don't listen to it. I don't know what's happening out there. But if now, I heard a lot of them coming out the East. The last one came out the East that was known, went straight to jail, was Flo. We just signed a Lil Wayne. What's that dude? Them dudes with Lil Wayne, man. They was from out the East, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, they were from out Goretti Park. Was it Goretti Park? Some dude's name, man. Squad Up. Squad Up. They was from out the East. But rappers, that East all the way, bro. That East all the way. Now, what y'all think about this? What I forgot, man? Put it in the comments, man. And let's roll from that. East versus Uptown in all aspects, in my opinion, from the 90s. I know I'm going to catch some slack behind this. Tell me what y'all think. One love, baby.